Hi, my name is Dean Viglione. I'm from Navsports Getting Started program. I'm here today with Simon Wilson, Participation Manager, AFL New South Wales ACT. How are you today?
Very well, thanks.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
What are the ages you can get started in AFL?
Yeah, AFL can be played by men and women, boys and girls of all ages. We have a national program called the NAB AFL Auskick program, which more or less is for boys and girls in New South Wales from the ages of 5 to 9. This program involves more or less skill development, participation, focus, and really just trying to have a good time with the kids and teach them a little bit about the game. From 9 to sort of 12, boys and girls can be involved in junior competitions. From 12 to 16, they can be involved in youth competitions, and then we go into our senior competitions. So there's many facets of the game that are open to all ages. There is male competitions, there is female competitions, and there's also a new sport which we're calling AFL Recreational Football, which is a non-contact version of AFL, which is for men and women over 16 years of age. So even the passive participant can now be involved in AFL.
What type of equipment do you need to get started in AFL?
Look, really, it's pretty easy. Basically, I suppose for the younger kids, for those competing in Auskick, they really just need themselves some shorts and a shirt to run around in, and some sneakers. It really doesn't take much more than that. The clubs will provide them with everything they need in terms of footballs. It's non-contact, so it's completely safe. So there's no protective equipment required at that age. As you start getting a little bit older and a little bit more serious about the sport, things such as football boots and a uniform are obviously important. Mouth guard would be important just to protect the teeth. And apart from that, all you need is a set of goalposts and a bit of green space to run around and have some fun. So it really doesn't take a lot of equipment to get involved in the sport.
What are the participation rates like in AFL?
AFL across the country is basically the highest participation sport at this point in time. This year we're sort of targeting around 700,000 participants for all our full range of programs across the country. In New South Wales we're looking to have around 100,000 participants by the end of the year.
Can you make a living out of AFL?
Definitely. Obviously the stadium behind us is where the Sydney Swans train and play their games. They have 42 rostered people on their list as players that are basically paid to play AFL football. Along with that, they will also have numerous staff that are associated with the football club. So there's many areas that you can go into and relatively earn a pretty good living if you get to the very top of the tree.
How could someone get started in AFL, and who can they contact, and do you have a website?
I mean, that's where we come into play. We're, as an organisation, New South Wales ACT AFL are running numerous programs across schools throughout the state. So obviously a lot of information can be found through there. The easiest way to get involved is basically visit the Play AFL website, www.playafl.com.au, or ring the Sydney number 02 8333 8030, and we'll be able to direct you with any queries you have about getting involved in your local clubs.
What are the costs involved in getting started in AFL?
Costs are pretty competitive to most sports. Most clubs would charge between $80 and sort of $150 for a full season of AFL at the junior level, and I think at the senior level it's probably around the $200 mark to be a member of their club, to receive all their gear, and the young ones also receive a NAB AFL Auskick backpack as a part of their registration fees, which has got their own football, drink bottle, hat, DVD, some tickets to some games and things of that nature. So the young ones are really well looked after.
Is there any other countries participating in AFL?
Look, slowly, AFL's been a very much a growth sport in New South Wales ACT at the moment, and some of the other non-traditional AFL states, and we're also seeing that transgress through to other countries as well. So there's competitions in Denmark, in South Africa, in the UK, in America. So things are really starting to pick up on the international front, and we obviously play at the top level. The AFL Allies play against a Gaelic Irish team biannually, so every second year, to have a bit of a cross-pollination with those from Ireland as well. So it really is starting to develop a bit of an international flavour.
What are some of the other benefits you can get out of your sport?
I think the best thing about AFL is that it's a multi-dimensional sport in the fact that it looks after participants of all ages, of all sizes and all genders. There really is something for everyone out there. At the youngest age, the focus is purely upon participation, fun and learning the skills, and the skills of AFL in themselves are pretty broad. So we teach kids to kick, to catch, to run, to dodge, to weave, all those basic skills which can be transferred into any other sport they choose to play later on. So I think at a young age the NAB AFL Auskick program is probably the most established program of its kind in the country. It's very popular with the kids and the parents for that reason, and it really does offer the kids a great introduction not only into AFL but to any sport or skill that they may choose to follow down the track.
Simon, who are the current superstars in your sport?
Look, depending on where you live, there's superstars everywhere. Chris Judd's probably one of the most recognised names and faces. He was with West Coast Eagles and has been the #1 draft pick over to Carlton this year, so he's certainly a superstar in the game. For the Sydney Swans perspective here in New South Wales, the likes of Barry Hall, they probably don't get much bigger than Big Bad Barry, as he's referred to by the public. Brett Kirk, Adam Goods, Michael O'Loughlin, these guys are pretty well known people around the New South Wales suburbs, and if you follow the Sydney Swans.
How are you currently promoting your sport?
Look, it's a big challenge for us at the moment. We're still the new kids on the block, so to speak, compared to the traditional rugby codes and soccer. So what we're doing is basically taking it out to as many kids and families as we can. We obviously have marketing arms that do that, but the main focus is on primary school programs where we go and visit kids in the schools, teach them the game, teach them the skills, teach them the rules, try and get them to play in competitions at school level, and sort of get them encouraged to like our game that way. Hopefully from there they'll enjoy it enough that they will come and play with us on a weekend and join up for the club. So any schools can basically have AFL development officers come out, and they will take them through a 6 to 8 week program of skill development and give them a few giveaways along the way.
Simon, thanks very much for being part of the Navsport program.
Thank you very much for having me.